make the strings.
Alright guys, welcome to another video of, welcome to another episode of Motion Sickness TV. So, as you can see right here, this is my fully built D16, A6, Z6 head, whatever, 500 horsepower D-Series that we've been thrashing in this car for a little while. Obviously this thing is going K-Series all-wheel drive, and this engine was perfectly good. It survived the rod knock test, and so now we have this guy right here. So this is a 2000 Honda Civic EK sedan. So it's got the 99 front end, it's missing the front bumper, and I picked this car up about 2 weeks ago for $300. Was it $300 or was it $200? $250, I thought. It might have been $200. I think I gave him $200 for it. So clean title, and I mean it's literally the perfect sleeper. So this thing has 260 some thousand miles on it. It has this custom door lock right here. This is how you get in it. This thing has been kind of messed up, but I have a door in the back. It was included with that. It doesn't have the climate control stuff in it, which is kind of sad. I wish it had that stuff because it's 99. 261,000 miles. It has some extra, some blunt wraps and some nugs and stuff in there, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so the goal for this thing is, right now, it is Thursday at 11:20 at night. So we have less than 24 hours. The goal with this car is going to be to smash this engine, transmission, wiring, all that stuff, fuel pump in this car and take it to the drag strip tomorrow at what? 6 p.m.? So we're going to thrash on this thing. We're going to try, now that I have a better shifting transmission for this car, I was never able to actually take it to the track and actually see if I could run a 10 with it. So I would love to be able to take this thing to the track and attempt to at least run a 10. And probably a little bit, at least a lower 11. It ran an 11.73 at 123 miles an hour. And that was with me like granny shifting it, not double clutching it like I should. And you know, so anyhow, there's a couple things that we need to do to the engine bay of this thing. Obviously, it had AC, power steering, evap, cruise control. It has a full Y7 harness and stuff in it, which we have to basically yank all that stuff out and put my engine harness in it with the Honda. So now begins the process of cleaning up the engine bay, taking out the AC, all this crap, and basically just gutting this thing and turning it into like a super basic sleeper. So this is the 500 horsepower, $200 freaking Civic sleeper. That's like not, is it eBay? It's not eBay. It has a real turbo. Has some eBay stuff on it, but yeah. So I think we might end up changing up this turbo manifold too. I think it might have had an exhaust leak there. I don't know. It looks that gasket just looks kind of weird too. And the other option is I have like a PFAB ram horn manifold that I thought about throwing on here. Which actually might be AC capable. I mean, I would love to have AC, power steering, cruise control, all that stuff on this thing too. That would be kind of funny. But then we can't go to the track tomorrow at 6 o'clock because then this thing's going to turn into a freaking project. But I'll probably set all that stuff aside. And if we get bored next week, waiting for parts and stuff for this thing. So the plan is we're supposed to be thrashing on this, but we need some parts. This was just kind of a funny thing I figured would be kind of cool to do while we're waiting on stuff. And what am I going to do with that engine? Freaking smash into this thing and take her for some rips. Alright guys, so got most of the stuff cleared out of here, and this is the first piece of the puzzle, that freaking polyurethane, super freaking rigid engine mount going in the back. And this guy's getting ready to get chained up and sent in. Alright, so I forget to inform you guys that we've ran into our first issue of this whole Honda swap. So, as I showed you guys in the video of yanking this engine out, this whole wastegate on the bottom is it's really loose. And so I think the bolts stretched or something, and they're so freaking tight and like locked in there, like they've just been in there for so many years. And you can see when I had the other thing, you could just move that wastegate and you could see it's just leaking a whole bunch. So when Chris drove it for the last time, it just felt really kind of laggy in between shifts and was dropping boost, you know, even shifting it quick. So kind of just going through the process right now of swapping the turbo manifold. I have this is a PFAB. It's a ram horn T3. I had it converted. I had my buddy MissileWorks, he welded this different flange on it. So that's a T3 flange. It used to be T2. And then we'll basically bottom mount this GT3076 on there, and I have a brand new wastegate, because basically these bolts right here, they're super loose with the 10mm. Not loose, but like the 10mm isn't grabbing on it, and as soon as I try like actually torquing on them, they just feel like seized in there. And I feel like if I actually pushed on it, it would probably just freaking, I just know it would round off the head. So we're just going to go ahead and swap the manifold. This is something that I actually have been wanting to do anyhow, but yeah, we're only 2 bolts away. Look at this freaking camel spider. Oh, this is a baby one. I've stomped 2 of these freaking things tonight. Look at that. I hate those things. Look at him. Come here, dude. Later, dude. Show him. Look at this one. Look how big this one was earlier.
This was a big son of a gun.
I mean, look at this compared to a freaking 14mm socket. Like, that's a big freaking spider, and you got these little freaking antlers in the front, and they just are, man, they just like go like running around the freaking shop like that. It's not cool. It's not freaking cool.
It's summertime, bud.
Well, and then
we gotta wait for the
and it's nighttime too.
The centipedes too.
They hunt at night. Oh man, you guys should see the freaking centipedes around here.
I haven't seen any yet.
Oh, I've freaking killed a couple of them already. Guys, back at the shop today. Executive decision has been made. When I was sleeping, I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and weld this wastegate on there. I'm gonna stick it, probably try to get it in the vise or try to get it squeezed down so that we actually clamp that down right there, and then basically just run some. I could honestly probably just tack it, and it might be okay. I feel like there's not even a gasket in there. Maybe that's what happened. I think maybe the gasket just blew out. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like there used to be a gasket in there, and now there's not a gasket in there. So that's going to be what I do. This manifold, I really kind of wanted to mess with it. I do have a new wastegate. I'm not sure if this turbo is probably a little bit different, but the wastegate placement would be kind of weird right here. I mean, I do want to put this manifold on it though, Ty. Look at it. But then I have to change the valve cover because the frickin' those things won't work.
Yeah, weld up new piping.
I gotta weld up new piping. But man, look how cool that looks though. Like that looks so much cooler than that.
I agree, it looks cool. But for the purpose of what you want this to do.
Yeah, but that'd be cool. Just pop the hood and there's freaking big old ram horn under there. It makes sense. It makes sense because it looks freaking cool. But then I have to weld. Let me see if I have some. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm indecisive. so I decided to just go ahead and weld it on there. As you can see, I went ahead and tigged it. It was cracking at first, and then finally got enough heat in it, I think, to where it was okay with it, and then I switched over to actually stainless wire. But not too bad. There's no cracks in it. Mostly it's just to keep it down. You can see that bolt is loose right there. I don't know if I should like freaking weld around that bolt, but mostly the exhaust gas is going to go straight out of here. And the reason I needed it actually just sandwiched down is because that fire ring was basically just kind of jiggling in there, and I think as soon as it got into like any sort of boost, it would just kind of push past the fire ring that basically seals the wastegate little the valve or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and smash this thing back in the car real quick. Probably throw the turbo manifold on it once it's actually in the car, because it's just, you know, it's easy. So. Just to give you a little bit of an update, we got the engine stuck back in here. Got my buddy Carlos over here again. How you doing, Carlos? He's helping me thrash on this thing. So it is 2:30 in the afternoon. And what time do we need to be at the drags?
About like 6:37.
6:37. Well, we could go a little bit later if worst case scenario, but things are getting bolted in. Got the clutch line and everything hooked up. Got the fuel lines, some vacuum lines going over the booster. Got the wiring stuffed in the car. And so now I think I need to figure out, because the battery was relocated on the other car, so I'm either going to have to relocate that again, either put it over here, figure out a place to do it because the catch can goes over here, or use some different sort of catch can. I'm not 100% sure what I'm actually going to be doing with that, but yeah, I'm kind of stoked to get this thing back going together. Carlos is taking his. Are you taking your EK to the track tonight?
Yeah, I'm taking my EK to the track.
So he has a K20 A2 hatch that he just put together and turboed.
Yeah.
And like actually tuned it himself. So he's going to take it to the track tonight on some slicks. He was afraid to break it.
Yeah, I'm really scared to break it, but we're going to send it, see
yeah.
what it does.
So I told him, I was like, he had like some 13-inch slicks in his garage. He's like, I would have let you borrow these. I was like, man, you need to put those on your freaking car. Oh, and really? So I think that's what's happening tonight. So I actually have a different catch can. I think it's a single vent one.
Yeah.
And since this one vents, well, I don't know.
Do you have one of the little round ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could use that. And then
well,
because
it has the thing that goes to the block on the back.
Is it only a 3-port?
No, it's only a 1-port. It only has one port in it. Yeah.
So no, but like your catch can setup, it's only 3 lines?
Yeah, it has 3 lines going to it.
Well, maybe we could plug one of these. And
that's what I was thinking, is just plug that and then
just use the crank.
Use that.
That's the important one.
Well, I guess if I was going to do that, I could have just plugged both of these and just use the crankcase one.
Use that one, yeah, that would be nice.
I don't know. Then I could use the ram horn, but I kind of already welded that other manifold, so I think we're just going to send it with the top mount today. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. I don't know what we're doing. Okay, so update, it is 4:40, and we're kind of playing around a little bit, playing around with intercourse, swapping the intercoolers. This car has a crash bar on it. The yellow one doesn't have the crash bar, and that intercooler is, what is it? It's a
China Bay, and it has holes in it. So.
And yeah,
that's a treadstone.
It had like a hole in it up here, and so we're probably losing a little bit of boost out of that. But Dave had this treadstone one, or we think it's a treadstone one. That was off his turbo BMW. We're going to go ahead and throw that on there and do a little side exit, not a little side deal, and then it comes straight out of the turbo on this side, and it goes right in there. Alright, so the time is 6 o'clock. Let's see, that focuses way faster than a G7X though, so I'm happy about that. So everything is pretty much hooked up. What else do we need?
Coolant.
So we need coolant.
Catch can.
Well, the catch can's kind of hooked up. Look at that. This thing's just going to chill right there, I'm pretty sure. I think that's just going to vent to...
We'll plug that, homie, or put it to the water bottle.
Or we'll do something, but yeah, so this is going to be the first turn of the key. I don't even know if anything's going to actually happen. We plugged in the battery. Oh! Is that a good sign? I mean, they'll do that at the junkyard, though, if you look at them wrong. Like, if you open the door in a Honda at the junkyard, it'll freaking do that.
Did the fuel pump turn on?
With the Honda turned on. So there is one plug down there that's not plugged in, because this is OBD2. See this plug? This one plugs into the ECU, because there's like 4 plugs on this ECU.
Yeah.
3 plugs. So this one isn't plugged in, but the green one is plugged in. So hopefully we'll see. What do you think is gonna happen? Oh geez. What happened? Oh, I don't think the cable going to the starter's tight. Yep, freaking Ty did that.
Freaking Ty.
Ty's fired. Ty's fired today. I wonder if like the windows and stuff are gonna go down. Well, we'll figure it out in a minute. Alright, round 2.
I don't think the fuel pump's kicking on.
I don't think it is either.
Does this thing have any fuses under there?
I don't know. Are they gone?
No, maybe.
I mean, he probably needed some fuses and took them.
Maybe.
I mean, he took the radio though. I needed that, but 206,000. All right, let's. I don't know what we're doing. We're gonna check fuses. Alright, so we have a problem. So as you can see, that plug down there is completely it's just unplugged. So the problem is I believe, so what is this car? 2000 is OBD2 OBD2A and I have OBD2B. So I have an OBD2B engine with an OBD2B engine harness to OBD1 jumper harness, and it plugs into the engine harness because we use that engine harness, but it's not plugging into the body. So it's not even turning on the main relay. So you can see that this plug is just completely disconnected. We tried unplugging it and plugging it in, and it got just a solid check engine light on the dash and some lights popped up, but it's still not kicking on the fuel pump relay. So I don't think it would actually start the car. Supposedly this green plug right here is wired completely different. Carlos has a OBD2A to OBD1 jumper harness, so we could plug in the chip P20 or the Honda P28 at his house. So I think he's gonna run and go grab that real quick, or Colton's gonna go grab it, and then I'm actually gonna convert this thing to the 2000 harness, and I think that's it. So convert it to the 2000 harness, and then I just have to wire in my injectors differently, change my injector plug, and then the map sensor plug, and intake air temp, and then I think we'll be, oh, and idle air control too, because idle air control is going to be different, because which is weird because it goes from like a 2-wire to like a 3-wire.
Yeah.
So I guess as long as I can get that wired. So basically chasing, and then I hope that these wires are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the same.
That this distributor
Well,
is.
this is an OBD1 distributor.
But it has like. Well, yeah, it is, because I don't know. This is a weird setup. I think this might actually be a jumper harness.
Oh, that is a jumper harness.
Yeah, it goes down to the bottom. So.
Just lay out the harnesses next to each other and then just
freaking smash them
one
together.
by one, yeah.
So yeah, I think Colton's gonna go run and do that. It is like 6:30. I mean, I think they still let people run until like 11 o'clock. So I mean, I could just go there, get it teched in by the tech shack, make a couple passes in it, and call it good. But I think that's kind of the plan for now. So hopefully we'll figure that out. Sorry about scaring you, Carlos.
You're good.
That was hilarious though. A10, and you can see had to redo something on the distributor plug. This thing was all pulled out of there, so I had to repin that. Basically did all the new injector harness, the VTEC solenoid, the idle air control. Had to depin some stuff on the ECU, repin another thing for the VTEC going out of the ECU, and just a bunch of other little stuff. So basically robbed a bunch of things off of this harness, and so now we have the 2000 engine harness. Carlos did have the OBD2B harness that actually converts it to this thing. So we should be able to plug it in, freaking turn the key, fire it up, and head to the track, I hope. So I will have to swap distributors out since this is the older style one, and this one was conveniently enough like laying on the passenger side floor. So hopefully that's a good distributor, and if not, then I think that's it for tonight, maybe. But let's throw this thing in and see if we can get a run. Guys, so we got the new harness in, and this is going to be the first attempt at cranking it over and seeing what it does. Alright, go ahead. Let me see if she has spark. Ready? Yeah, go ahead. Alright. Yep, it has spark.
Alright, well, it's probably the fuel pump. Ready?
Yeah. Alright, go ahead. Keep her going. Freaking live! That's it right there. Lift is good there. I'm surprised that started. Alright, so now we gotta put some more coolant in it. She's sitting on the ground. We got her on the slicks.
What's that?
Gonna pull it outside. Unlock the door. Make sure we don't get stuck in this thing. We're gonna see how she does. Yep. Should we check? That was a good shift. Alright guys, so the shop is a mess, I'm a mess, everything's a mess. We did make it to the track on time. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, I just had to make sure I had the right paperwork and stuff to be able to drive this thing. But yes, we did take it for one little drive down the road, and it felt like it was really, really sluggish. So we went ahead and turned up the boost a little bit, or actually hooked up the boost controller because the electronic boost controller wasn't even hooked up. So we went ahead and did that, and it feels a lot better. So we're going to take it for a little cruise, see if we can meet up with some people, and I guess see what the freaking 500 horsepower four-door sleeper in a day will do on the freaking street. So I'm kind of excited about that. I don't know about these things, but I guess we'll figure it out. Alright boys, so first cruise, and this thing is surprisingly nice. Like 260,000 miles on it. the suspension feels good, the bushings feel good. It drives it down the road straight, like you let off the steering wheel, it doesn't shake. Like, you get into boost and everything else, that all goes to like it goes crazy. But we're almost completely empty. There's only like 2.5 gallons of E85 in here. So gonna fill her up at the 85 station. No boost gauge, no air fuel, no ethanol content sensor gauge, any of that other stuff I had in the other car. But I never had any issues with it in the other car, and I barely ever looked at it anyhow. So it's like, this is the freaking sleeper Civic. So what happened, Trevor? Those freaking spark plug holes just got all full of oil. Cause this thing is like really loose, and it leaks a little bit right there. So we found some paper towels, and we're freaking just giving her the dip, trying to get all that stuff. Cause this thing started, it was like had like a freaking cam in it. It's doing some weird now. With all the homies. Probably just need new plugs and then get rid of that. And so we're almost back to the shop now, but this thing's, it's doing some really weird stuff. It's like loading up. Alright guys, so that is the end of this video and the 500 horsepower sleeper. Obviously we have a couple little kinks and stuff to work out on this thing, but overall, I mean, it was pretty successful. This thing does ride really nice, and I really, really wish that I could get the AC and everything on here. So be sure to leave in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think I should do with this thing. I'm thinking I need to get like some soccer stickers or like some student honor roll stickers for the back. I think that'd be pretty cool. The other thing is for sure gonna make a full exhaust. The stock exhaust is still hanging out the back and it goes all the way to the front. So I'm just gonna leave this back there and I'm gonna run, the plan is to run the exhaust through that and then do a cutout switch and actually have it cut out so that it could be like completely sleeper. The only thing you're gonna hear is this freaking jet like spooling up, but other than that, the exhaust will be super quiet. And then, you know, just freaking flip switch, go to kill mode, and then say how you guys doing. But yeah, front bumper, hood, and all that stuff will definitely be going back on here. And I would like to go to the track. I would love it if I could get this thing to run a 10. Now that I could actually kind of shift this transmission, it still kind of feels laggier now than it did. I don't know if timing's off or something else is different. When I did put the new distributor in it, I did set the Honda data to 16 degrees, basically to set timing, pulled out the timing light, timed it. So, I don't know. There could just be a couple more random little things that this thing needs, but overall it was really fun. And you know, at the little meet that we went to, we threw Carlos and his girlfriend in and went and took him for a little ride in it. But it's just cool to be able to just like throw all the homies in there and go for a little cruise. So appreciate you guys watching. If you guys want to see some more of this car, be sure to let me know, and subscribe if you guys want to see some more of other stuff. Obviously the K-Series all-wheel drive thing is coming together soon, and go to the drag strip with that, then we'll go to the drag strip with this thing, and then we'll drift that thing, and then eventually we'll work on this thing, whatever that is, and then I guess that's it. See you guys later.